When you talk about 30%, remember this, that 82 million hectares of land is a whole thing that we're talking about. 30% is 24.5 million hectares of that.
Yeah.
Now, the 7% you referred to is 7% of the 82. Now, the what we have done up to now, since 1994, we have transferred about 7% of the 82, but we've transferred about 16% of the 4.5. Very, very inadequate indeed. So that's how far we've gone.
All right, 7% of the 82 million hectares. What are the impediments? What are the problems?
Remember this, that when we said 30% of land to be transferred, one of the things that we perhaps lost sight of is that land reform is not just transfer of land. It's restitution. It's development. We completely ignored development, and what we have done now is we also contribute to the slowing down. Is that we took 25% of that since 2010. Took 25% of the baseline budget of land for development. So we're doing a lot of development now. But secondly, the challenge is also that when you use the willing buyer, willing seller model, which is a market-based model for transfer of land, one of the things we do is to distort the land market, because when land is transferred at a horizontal level, Mangaliso and Josop, then the market is fine, it works well. But when the state enters, then it distorts the market because the prices go up. Thirdly, our own laxity. We've also been a bit lethargic in the way in which we are doing things. And when it came to, for example, when you look at restitution as part of that, the model, I think, hasn't been that good. You can't employ people who have to do that work on a contract basis and expect that they can work themselves out of the job. We changed that model. Only 4 commissioners are on contract. Those are in Pretoria. All of the provinces are full-time Public Service Act employment. And perhaps lastly, perhaps the whole process, the bureaucracy, the whole system of state itself does contribute to the slowdown. And of course the prices.
Right. I just want to go back to the 7%, if I may, for a minute. What is the nature of the 7%? I mean, is it land transferred from white commercial farmers to black commercial farmers, or
That's
is it
correct.
Is strictly?
That's correct.
And what is the current state of that land? Is it operational? Is it working?
The one that's been transferred?
Yes, please.
That's the one I was talking about. And that was saying we took 25% of the baseline budget since 2010. A lot of that has been recapitalized now and functional. The first year we recapitalized about 600, and last year 695 of those. We're looking at 416 this year. So it's moving very, very well. So
the 7% is currently commercial land that is working.
Yes, and
people are tilling that land.
You see, part of the problem with the model that we adopted in restitution, for example, you identify land because it's been claimed. You do the research verification and all that, and then you gazette that. Once you gazette, 2 things in the main happen. 1, the expectations of people who claim the land, they immediately think the land is theirs. 2, the owner stops development. Thirdly, we take a long time to settle the claim, 10 years and so on. By the time you take it over, it's not worth the amount of money you're paying. And nothing is happening on the land. So there's a lot of money that we are spending now on recapitalizing those lands, and many of them.
I just want to, because again, 7% of the targeted 30% back in 1994. So over 18 years or so, you've only been able to transfer 7%. Do you, and some people have asked this question about whether or not ours in this country will actually end up being a disorderly land reform process?
It's not going to be. It could have been.
But what are the guarantees? I mean, how do you know that if it is this low, what are the chances that it may end up being pretty disorderly?
I don't think so. I think, talking to people, we're doing a lot of, I'm sure a lot of people will come through here. We do a lot of consultation with people. And of course, the second thing, perhaps, which is very, very important, is the announcement with the president at the weekend that we reopen the land claim, the lodgement date, because that's part of the problem. We set very, very strict time frames, 5 years, and yet we're talking about land which was taken over from people over centuries. We say 5 years, we're giving you a window to claim land, Lots of people didn't claim. Few people claimed. So it would have created a lot of tight tension. It's very, very important that of course, the ruling party or the governing party at the weekend took the decision and now actually set South Africans on a more constructive course to dealing with the land question.
But it may only, I mean, one of the things that will happen out of that opening of the lodgement is that it will complicate matters further. If it takes 10 years to settle one claim, it's going to take another 10 to settle newer claims.
Perhaps yes, but listen to this, that one of the things you said yourself earlier on, Pepito, was that the president said we're moving away from the willing buyer, willing seller model.
But he's been saying that since 2007.
No, it's because there was no institution. You see, this is one of the shortcomings. South Africans are not critical about how we're looking at this matter. You know, you cannot say we change because we have a law. Law is not enough. You need an institution to manage that change, sustain that change, make it work. We have introduced in South Africa now, and Cabinet has approved this 2 months ago. We're busy working on the codification of Section 25(3) of the Constitution. Cabinet approved an institution called the Office of the Valuer General, which will move away from the willing buyer, willing seller. It will replace that when it comes to the state entering the land market. But
the worry, Minister, is that in 2007, this was already clear that this policy is not working. It's taking 5 years to establish an institution. So it's going to take another 5 to 10 years then to start working on these matters.
No, it's taken me 3 years to establish this thing. Nobody thought about it before. The institution of Valuer General, we studied about it 2010, it's done now. This year is going to implement it. So it's going to work. We're busy codifying now the Section 25.